All right, so political cartoon, what do we have going on here? What do we got going on? Mr. America. Eddie, what's going on in political cartoon?
There's a guy sitting.
Guy sitting. Okay, who's the guy? Uncle Sam, so representing the United States. Good job. All right, so describe it a little bit more in detail. Does he look happy?
No.
No, why not?
He's just sitting there.
He's sitting there. Okay, good job. So this is kind of the viewpoint of what? If we're staying out of the war, if we're so far separated across the Atlantic Ocean, what's that called? What viewpoint? Huh?
Is the U.S. neutrality?
Yeah, so this is U.S. neutrality. Good job. So the U.S. is staying out of the war. But what's the one viewpoint we talked about? We're sitting there and kind of, I don't want to say it. Sarah? Yeah, isolationist. Good job. So we're trying to stay separate from the war because the Atlantic Ocean separates us, right? This conflict's occurring in Europe. And why do we need to get involved? All right, good. What else can we talk about here? Tanner?
In the water, bayonets.
Yeah, there's bayonets everywhere. So that kind of goes along the viewpoint of maybe that the United States isn't prepared for this war just yet, right? This might be terrible. This might be devastating for the United States if we join in. Okay, what if we're not prepared for this new style of fighting, which in 1917, when we do eventually join the war, we were not. Okay, we weren't anywhere prepared for this new style of fighting with all the new weapons that we talked about already. Okay, and all the new forms of technology and the advancements that emerged during this war. So again, this could be really detrimental to the United States if we join in and we just get shellacked, right? And this could really knock us down a peg. As we're growing as an industrial power, if we join in this war and really goes sideways for us, this could be very detrimental for the U.S. rising as that world power. All right, good. So this is kind of reflected more towards World War II, but kind of the same viewpoints, the same stance for the United States when joining the war. It's like, what should we do? Should we stay isolated? Should we get apart, be a part of the conflict? And which side should we join, right? That was a huge debate for President Wilson and a big conflict for him. It's such a hard decision, right? If we join one side of the war, well, we might have some angry citizens in the U.S. that could cause a rebellion or a revolt. So there really wasn't a clear answer of what we should do really at the start of World War One. I know I talked about it yesterday, Teddy Roosevelt. He was very critical of President Wilson and his decision to stay out of the war, right? But we'll talk about it more tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll have a reading about the sinking of one boat, the Lusitania, that kind of pushed the U.S. towards war. And because of Germany's antics out in the Atlantic Ocean, this really only gave us one option. Okay, and we had to join the war on the Allied side. Okay, again, we'll talk about that, what drug the United States into conflict more, I guess, Monday and Tuesday. Okay, all right. So that political cartoon again, I thought it was interesting. Something to really think about. Okay, yesterday towards the end of the presentation, I showed you a political cartoon of Uncle Sam looking like a hypocrite, two-face, and again, we don't like to show the United States in that light, but really building up to World War One, that's exactly what we were. We were very hypocritical. We wanted the war to end, but at the same time, we're making a lot of money off of it. Okay, bell ringer for today. So list and describe the three perspectives of the U.S. as the war was raging on in Europe. So for those of you in here, I'll just come around and check your bell ringers. You should have 4 of them. I'll have the assignment posted up for tomorrow. Again, you don't have to worry about it because you're in here. I'll just check them, but it's mostly for the remote students. All right, so let's get to it here. So listen to describe the three perspectives of the U.S. as the war was raging on in Europe. So one of them, give me one of them. Eddie, go ahead.
The interventionist, which one of the U.S. joined the war with allies?
All right, yeah, good job. So the interventionists, they wanted to get involved in the war. Okay, and Teddy Roosevelt, like I said, talked a lot about this. Okay, maybe because he lost the presidential election to President Wilson. And he's very critical of the decisions to stay out of the war, stay out of the conflict as long as possible. But interventionists want to get involved. If we don't get involved, what might happen? Where might the war come? Kale? Yeah, the United States. Good job. And Roosevelt said that a lot. He's like, you know what? We can't just sit back, relax, and watch this war just tear apart Europe. Sooner or later, this might come to the United States. And if it comes to the US, well, we're going to see devastation. Okay, we don't want our American public, our people, our country to see this type of conflict in our own borders. All right, good job. So interventionists want to get involved. Barbara, what's another one? Okay, internationalists. Good job. And what was that viewpoint all about?
They wanted to help end the war with peaceful efforts and continue to trade with European nations. However, they didn't want to end.
Okay, all right, good job. So internationalists, they wanted to see a peaceful end of the war, but at the same time, okay, we were making a lot of money off of it. Okay, it was to a point where we were becoming the strongest industrial power in the world and agricultural power. And we want to see ourselves rise even more. Okay. And hey, if these European countries can tear each other apart and literally destroy each other, then we're the only country left in the world that can support the rest of the world. Okay, with different forms of manufacturing, goods production, and our agricultural production as well. So with that being said, the internationalists, let's stay out of it. Let's say that we want to see the war end, but be very hypocritical of it. But let's sell to both sides. Okay, let's make a huge profit off of it and grow the United States even more as a world power. And that's kind of the side we took, right? Last one here. Chloe? Yeah, good job. Isolationists, stay out of the war. It's all the way across the Atlantic Ocean in Europe. So why get involved? Okay, why get involved? There's no need. All right, is there any questions of those three perspectives? Again, because of these new advancements in World War One, with the new forms of weaponry and technology that we just talked about, maybe America's not prepared for this. Okay, and that was a viewpoint of many Americans and many politicians and public officials, even Wilson. It's like, I don't know if we're ready for this type of warfare just yet. Yeah, the Spanish-American War was successful, only lasted 6 months, but Spain really wasn't a dominant world power. They didn't have all the advancements as, let's say, Germany. So it's going to be something different, right? A new style of warfare that the US might not be prepared for. All right, so remind me to check your bell ringers here towards the end of class. I'm going to come around and check them. But real quick, what's today? What's today? What is it? Veterans Day. Good job. Veterans Day. And do we know the history of Veterans Day? Do we? Chloe, you shook your head. Yeah. Well, let's hear it. Yeah, where did it begin? Why do you shake your head? Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So where did it start? Where did it start? Go ahead, Noah. Yeah, Armistice Day. Good job. After what war? Yeah, World War One. And what are we talking about right now? World War One. Look at that. How perfect is that, right? If only we could be talking about the end of it right now, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, World War One, the ending of it. It happened on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. So easy way to remember it, but it happened in 1918. Okay. So with that being said, Veterans Day, it wasn't called Veterans Day its whole existence, right? It started at the end of World War One, and this is where all the countries in Europe and even the United States, right, came to agreement to cease fire, okay, stop the war, and the Western Front ended. And they agreed on terms in a rail car, okay, in France. We'll talk about that rail car when we get to World War II. Hitler does something very, very terrible, right? And it was to the point where he's trying to rub salt in the wound for really the ending of World War One. So that rail car, we'll talk about it soon enough. And with that being said, Armistice Day signifies really just our respect and our gratitude towards the veterans and people still fighting in wars today. All right, we'll talk about Memorial Day, obviously, towards the end of the year and when that comes around. But Veterans Day, we're respecting those that served and those are still serving in the armed forces. And it later changed its name to Veterans Day after World War II and after the Korean War. You know what president decided to change the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day? What's that, Ms. O'Neill?
I think I know that.
Oh, who's that?
Jimmy Carter?
Not Carter. Not Carter. He was a general during World War II. Later became president. Oh, geez, he's beating up his desk over here. Tanner?
President Eisenhower?
Eisenhower. Yep, good job. Eisenhower. So again, let's just respect more of all the wars, right? And even the people that are fighting still today and protecting our freedoms, okay, and protecting what we have today. So I think it's important that you remember Veterans Day, and if you know someone that's serving or has served, make sure you thank them for their service. It's something that we should never forget, and I think it's something that we should always really think about when this day comes around, and really every day, right? We should always be respectful to our veterans as they're fighting for us to really live our daily lives, for you guys to go on TikTok and hang out with your friends. I don't know, right? Okay, so real quick, I have a video for you of Veterans Day. And as you're watching this video, I'll come around and check your bell ringers. So have those out ready to go, and I can give you a grade for that. Reminder, tomorrow, I won't be here. So please complete the assignment online. It's just a quick reading on the Lusitania. And I'll talk more about the Lusitania on Monday. Okay, this is building up to the United States joining into the war. So again, Veterans Day, though, we're having assembly, I think, towards the end of fourth period, beginning of fifth. So make sure you guys know where you're sitting for that. Be respectful, right? Be respectful. Stay off your phones, no talking, and just really pay attention to Mr. O as he's going to be talking about Veterans Day. All right, so here's the video here. I'll play this for you now.